My friend, there are moments when God becomes silent you, not because he has left you, but because he's speaking through your stillness. You've been fighting battles that don't belong to you. You've been trying to prove your worth to people who were never meant to understand you. And God is whispering, focus on yourself and stay silent. Sometimes silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is where God builds strength that noise can destroy. Today, I want to speak to those who feel unseen, underestimated, and misunderstood. God has not forgotten you. He's just isolating you to elevate you. Isolation is God's workshop. There are moments in life when everything and everyone seems to fade away. When the calls stop coming, the support disappears, and the people you once depended on suddenly become distant. It feels lonely, confusing, even painful. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Why does it feel like everyone has left me? But what if I told you that what you call isolation is actually preparation? What if I told you that this quiet season of your life is not God forgetting you, but God focusing on you? Because when God wants to work on a masterpiece, he doesn't do it in the crowd. He does it in the workshop of isolation. Think about how a sculptor works. When an artist takes a block of marble, he doesn't carve it in the middle of a noisy market. He takes it to a private place where only he can see it. He studies it, shapes it, and cuts away everything that doesn't look like the vision is mine. That's what God is doing in your life. He's removing unnecessary pieces, habits, people, attachments, distractions, not because he's punishing you, but because he's revealing the version of you that you were always meant to be. Many times, the silence you're experiencing is God's construction zone. The people you lost weren't meant to be there during the building phase. Some can't handle the version of you that's still under development. That's why certain relationships collapsed, certain opportunities closed, and certain paths got blocked. You were praying for elevation, but you didn't know that elevation often starts with separation. The crowd can celebrate you, but they can't shape you. Only God can. When you look at life's greatest transformations, they all happen in isolation. The seed grows in the dark before it breaks through the soil. The butterfly forms in the cocoon before it ever touches the sky. Even a diamond is formed in the deep, silent pressure of the earth before it shines before the world. So don't mistake silence for absence. It's strategy. God does his best work away from public view. Maybe right now you feel like everything is still, no movement, no applause, no progress. But here's the truth, even when it looks like nothing is happening, everything is happening. The roots are growing deeper. The vision is becoming clearer. The character is being refined. You see, public success is built on private discipline. Before God can trust you with visibility, he must test you with invisibility. He's asking, can you stay faithful when no one is watching? Can you remain consistent when there's no reward? Can you believe in my plan when it doesn't make sense? Every great person who ever carried destiny had to endure the season of isolation. It's not comfortable, but it's necessary because the noise of people can drown out the voice of purpose. When God isolates you, he's trying to get your full attention. He's saying, I need to teach you how to hear me without distractions, how to move when no one is pushing you, and how to believe when there's no evidence yet. You cannot become who you're meant to be while trying to keep everyone comfortable. Growth requires distance. Think about it. When a rocket prepares for space, it sheds every piece of equipment that's not needed for the next level. The boosters fall off, not because they failed, but because their purpose is complete. In the same way, some people and places were part of your launching stage, but not your landing stage. Don't mourn what God has already released. The isolation is your lift-off zone. Sometimes you have to learn to sit with yourself. That's where revelation begins. The more time you spend alone with your thoughts, the clearer your purpose becomes. You start realizing that you were never waiting on people. You were waiting on clarity. Isolation teaches you to hear your own heartbeat again, to recognize your own power again. It's where you remember that you were created for something greater than approval. When you're alone, you start to see your habits, your fears, your patterns. And that's where real growth starts. God allows isolation to confront what you've been avoiding. You can't hide in a crowd when you're by yourself. You have to face your truth. You have to deal with your wounds. And though it's painful, it's also powerful because healing always begins with honesty. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment is not random, it's refinement. The people who laugh now won't understand that God was stripping you to strengthen you. The same ones who said you change won't realize that you had to change to survive. Sometimes God empties your hands so he can fill them with something better. Don't despise this season. Don't rush it. Don't fight it. When everything around you seems to slow down, it's because something inside you is speeding up. The isolation you fear is the space where God gives you identity. The silence you hate is where he downloads direction. And the loneliness you feel is where he births leadership. Every storm has a calm center, and every purpose has a private process. The ones who truly rise are the ones who don't quit in their quiet season. You're not forgotten. You're not stuck. You're under construction. You're being shaped, molded, and refined by divine design. What feels like breaking is actually building. The silence is not punishment. It's God's workshop where ordinary clay becomes a vessel of power and purpose. Focus is the currency of destiny. Focus is the currency of destiny. You cannot buy your future with talent alone, with prayer alone, or with ambition alone. You must pay for it with focus. In a world filled with noise, distraction has become the thief of greatness. Every scroll, every notification, every comparison silently steals a piece of your attention. You start your day with purpose, but end it scattered. You wake up inspired, but go to bed drained, not because you worked hard, but because you lost focus. You can't build something eternal with a distracted mind. Every person who ever reached significance mastered one simple law. They learned to protect their focus. The difference between successful people and average people is not intelligence, it's intention. Some people wake up reacting to life, others wake up directing it. The question is, are you focused on what matters, or are you feeding what doesn't? Imagine a magnifying glass. When sunlight passes through it casually, nothing happens. But when you hold it still, steady, unmoving, the light becomes fire. That's the power of focus. It turns ordinary energy into extraordinary impact. Your life works the same way. Your energy, your time, your thoughts, they all become powerful only when you concentrate them on one purpose. Many people are busy but not productive because their attention is divided into too many directions. You can't hit 10 targets with one arrow. Think about your phone battery. Even the best battery dies quickly when too many apps are open. You're no different. You're drained not because you're weak, but because you're multitasking your destiny. You're trying to please everyone, chase everything, fix everyone, and wonder why your spirit feels empty. God didn't design you to do everything. He designed you to do your thing with excellence. Focus is how you honor the assignment he gave you. When you focus on yourself, you're not being selfish, you're being strategic. The seed doesn't apologize for growing in silence. The tree doesn't compare its fruit to the forest. It just grows. When you stop comparing your progress to others, peace enters your process. You realize that what you carry inside is unique, and you can't develop it if you're always distracted by what others are doing. You lose sight of your own path when you stare too long at someone else's journey. Look around you. Every invention, every innovation, every revolution was born from someone who refused to be distracted. The airplane came because two brothers focused on flight. The light bulb was created because one man refused to stop experimenting after thousands of failures. The world rewards those who persist, not those who wander. Focus is the bridge between dreams and reality. Sometimes focus requires sacrifice. You may have to disconnect from conversations that no longer feed your growth. You may have to distance yourself from friends who drain your energy. You may have to say no to good things to make room for great ones. Focus isn't easy, but it's necessary. Every yes you give to something meaningless is a no to something meaningful. Guard your attention like treasure, because that's exactly what it is. There will always be noise, opinions, gossip, criticism, distractions, all designed to pull you off course. But purpose doesn't need permission. Purpose needs protection. When you focus on your assignment, God handles your audience. Don't chase recognition, chase results. The same people who doubt you now will one day ask how you did it. You'll smile and say, I stopped looking around and I started looking within. Focus also means discipline. You can't expect divine results with a distracted routine. If you want to build a strong future, you must build strong habits. Wake up with clarity. Set your priorities. Don't just pray for success, prepare for it. Faith without focus is fantasy. God can give you the idea, but you must give it attention. He gives vision, but you must provide consistency. Take a look at nature. The river doesn't cut the rock because of power, but because of persistence. It keeps flowing in the same direction day after day, year after year. It doesn't rush. It doesn't get distracted. It just keeps moving forward, focused on its destination. That's how destiny works. Steady pressure in the same direction. Every time you show up, even when it's hard, you're carving a path to purpose. Sometimes people will misunderstand your focus. They'll call you distant, arrogant, or too serious. But they don't understand that you're building something sacred. They don't see the hours you invest when no one's watching. They don't hear the prayers whispered behind closed doors. They don't feel the weight of the calling you carry. You don't owe them explanation. You owe God obedience. Stay focused even when it's lonely. Focus also demands trust. You won't see results immediately. It's like planting a seed. You water it, nurture it, and wait. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust the process. In time, what was hidden underground will break through. The same way, your silent seasons are not wasted, they're working. God rewards focus because it shows faith. When you stay committed despite the delay, heaven takes notice. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you're declaring that your future matters more than your feelings. You're saying, I may not be there yet, but I refuse to be moved by noise. Destiny doesn't come to those who are interested. It comes to those who are invested. Your focus is proof of your faith. When you guard your attention, so every morning, remind yourself my focus is my fuel. My attention is my altar. Whatever I feed grows, and whatever I starve dies. If I focus on fear, fear multiplies. If I focus on purpose, purpose flourishes. Don't waste your focus on what drains you. Invest it in what defines you. Your future is waiting, but it won't come to meet your distraction. It will meet your direction. Silence protects what God is building. There comes a time in your life when you realize that not everything needs to be announced. Not every plan needs to be shared, and not every blessing needs to be broadcasted. Silence becomes your shield, and privacy becomes your power. When God starts building something in your life, He often does it quietly. He hides you while He works, because not everyone around you has the maturity to handle what's being developed inside you. Some people are not enemies, they're just unprepared witnesses. And if you speak too soon, you invite noise into what should be sacred. There's a reason construction sites have fences and warning signs that say, work in progress. It's not to hide the building, it's to protect it. The same applies to your life. When God is constructing something new inside of you, He often places barriers around you: silence, separation, stillness. You may feel alone, but what's really happening is preservation. God is protecting His investment in you until it's strong enough to be seen. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing. Not because you don't have something to say, but because what you're carrying is too valuable to expose prematurely. Think about a woman in her first months of pregnancy. She doesn't announce it right away because the seed is still fragile. She protects it with silence until it's ready to be revealed. In the same way, what God is birthing in your life needs time to grow before it can be shared. You cannot expect people to nurture what they didn't conceive. Every time you open your mouth about a dream too early, you risk placing it in the hands of doubters, critics, or manipulators who might not understand it. Not everyone who smiles with you is for you. Some are simply curious spectators waiting to see if you'll fail. Silence keeps them guessing while God keeps you growing. You don't owe explanations to people who were never assigned to your purpose. Some things are better protected in prayer than published on platforms. In the world we live in, everyone is addicted to noise. We announce everything, what we're doing, where we're going, what we're planning next. But the truth is, greatness doesn't grow in noise. It grows in stillness. The oak tree doesn't make sound when it grows. The roots deepen in silence, and that's why it stands through every storm. Likewise, your growth doesn't need to be seen to be real. The most significant transformations happen when no one is watching. Look at nature. A seed doesn't talk about becoming a tree. It simply goes underground, disappears for a while, and lets time and pressure do their work. Then one day it breaks through the soil, strong, undeniable, and fruitful. That's how God builds you. First He buries you, then He builds you, and finally He brings you forth. And during that buried stage, silence is your protection. You're hidden, not forgotten. You might feel frustrated because people misunderstand your quietness. They say you've changed, you've become distant, or you're not the same. But that's fine. They don't know that your silence isn't distance. It's discipline. You're not ignoring them. You're investing in something they can't see yet. You've realized that you can't build a masterpiece while constantly explaining your brushstrokes. Builders don't talk while they build, they talk when it's done. Sometimes God will intentionally keep your success silent until it's strong enough to withstand exposure. He knows that early visibility can become early vulnerability. There are blessings that can't survive public opinion. There are visions that collapse under premature celebration. That's why God hides you in plain sight. He's protecting you from the pressure that comes with premature recognition. Silence also teaches you the power of self-control. It reminds you that not every reaction deserves a response. When you learn to stay quiet in chaos, you've mastered spiritual maturity. Not every battle is yours to fight, and not every critic deserves your energy. Sometimes silence speaks louder than defense. Let your progress answer what your words cannot. When you stop explaining yourself, you give God room to vindicate you. The moment you stop talking to prove your worth, your results will start talking for you. There are people who want access to your process, but not responsibility for your purpose. They'll listen to your dreams and twist your words. That's why silence is not just protection, it's preservation. It keeps your energy sacred. It guards your peace. It allows God to finish the blueprint without interruption. Every time you resist the urge to explain, you are honoring the process God has you in. Think of an architect designing a skyscraper. During the early phases, it's all quiet. You only see dirt, machinery, and slow progress. But under the surface, foundations are being laid, foundations that must go deep before height can appear. If you judge the project by what you see early on, you'd assume nothing significant is happening. But when the structure begins to rise, everyone suddenly sees what was being built all along. Your life is no different. God is laying foundations deep inside you. He's developing strength, patience, wisdom, and faith. You might not see the structure yet, but you will. Silence is just the scaffolding around your becoming. Even Jesus spent years in silence before he stepped into public ministry. For 3 decades, he was being prepared, processed, and perfected in quietness. When the time came, his impact was undeniable. You can't rush what God is refining. You can't push into visibility what's meant to be protected. The longer he keeps you quiet, the stronger your voice will be when it's time to speak. Learn to embrace the quiet season. Let people wonder. Let them question. Let them assume. You don't need to correct every rumor or respond to every opinion. The truth doesn't need a press release. It just needs time. God's timing will expose what he's been building in you, and when it's ready, no one will be able to deny it. Until then, stay quiet, stay grounded, and let silence be your sanctuary where God shapes the next version of you. Healing happens in private. There are seasons in life when healing doesn't come through applause, attention, or advice. It comes through silence, solitude, and surrender. Healing doesn't always happen in the spotlight. Most of the time, it happens in the shadows, behind closed doors, in moments when nobody sees your tears or hears your prayers. You smile in public, but in private, you're trying to hold yourself together. You encourage others while secretly battling your own storm. That's because the process of healing is deeply personal, and God often chooses to do his most powerful work in private. When you break a bone, the doctor may realign it, but healing doesn't happen in the hospital waiting room. It happens quietly, beneath the skin, over time. You don't see it, but it's happening. The body repairs what was broken. The same thing happens with emotional and spiritual wounds. You don't always see progress, but that doesn't mean healing isn't taking place. Just because people can't see your growth doesn't mean it's not real. God does his best restoration in places where no one is clapping, where no one is watching, where no one can interfere. Many people want to be healed publicly because they want others to see the transformation. But God says, let me fix you privately so that when I reveal you, no one can take the credit. Public exposure without private wholeness is dangerous. Too many people are performing while they're still bleeding. They're smiling for the crowd, but silently screaming inside. Healing doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. It means admitting that it's not and letting God do surgery on your soul. Sometimes he isolates you not to punish you, but to treat you. When God removes people from your life, it's often because he wants to heal you from the wounds they left behind. You keep asking why they left, but God is saying, I had to take them away so you could stop bleeding. You can't heal in the same environment that hurt you. That's why some friendships fade, some relationships end, and some environments become uncomfortable, because God is pulling you away to repair what others damaged. Healing is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel free, and other days you'll feel fragile. That's normal. Just like a wound itches as it heals, your soul will feel restless as God restores it. There will be days you want to go back to what broke you because pain can feel familiar, but don't. Every time you resist going back to your old habits, your old circle, or your old mindset, you're proving that the healing is working. You don't have to announce your progress. It will show in the way you respond, in the way you speak, and in the peace that starts to fill your heart. Think about a butterfly. Before it ever spreads its wings, it hides in a cocoon. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. Silence, stillness, isolation. But inside, everything is changing. The old form is dissolving and something new is being born. That's how God works with you. He takes you into a private cocoon of transformation where he strips away everything that no longer serves your purpose, the pain, the bitterness, the insecurity, and rebuilds you into something beautiful. People may not understand your silence. They'll think you're distant, antisocial, or cold. But what they don't realize is that you're healing. You're not ignoring them. You're nurturing yourself. You're finally choosing peace over performance. You're learning that sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is rest. You've spent years trying to fix everyone else, but now you're learning that it's okay to fix you. Healing doesn't mean weakness. It means wisdom. It means you finally love yourself enough to stop reopening wounds that God is trying to close. There's a beauty in private healing because it teaches you to rely on God and not on validation. When you're alone with him, there are no filters, no masks, no pretense. You can cry, you can question, you can be real. And in that authenticity, he meets you. He touches places no one else can reach. The hidden trauma, the silent disappointments, the secret fears. He whispers, you don't have to carry that anymore. And little by little, the pain that once consumed you begins to lose its power. You start to notice that you no longer react the way you used to. The things that once broke you no longer define you. That's how you know healing is happening. It's not dramatic. It's subtle. It's in your peace, your patience, your newfound calm. You start to breathe again without the weight on your chest. You start to smile again without pretending. You start to feel hope again, not because everything is perfect, but because you're being restored from within. Every scar tells a story, but not every story needs to be told right away. Some stories are meant to be lived quietly until the healing is complete. When you heal in private, you protect your process from people who might misunderstand it. Not everyone deserves access to your vulnerability. Some people will poke at your pain out of curiosity, not compassion. That's why God closes the door, locks it, and says, it's just you and me now. Healing also teaches humility. It reminds you that strength is not pretending to be fine. Strength is facing your pain with courage. It's waking up every day and choosing to keep going, even when you feel empty. It's forgiving people who never apologize. It's letting go of memories that no longer serve your future. Healing isn't glamorous. It's gritty, raw, and real. But when you go through it, you come out wiser, stronger, softer, and freer than ever before. So if you find yourself in a quiet season where it feels like no one understands, remember that this is where the real transformation happens. You're not being hidden. You're being healed. You're not being delayed. You're being developed. The pain you feel today is the evidence that something deep inside you is being repaired. God is rewriting your story, not in the noise of the crowd, but in the stillness of your surrender. Silence precedes power. Every storm has a silence before it breaks. Every dawn has a moment of stillness before the first light pierces through the sky. That pause, that quiet, that heavy calm you feel before things shift, it's not emptiness, it's preparation. Silence is not the absence of activity, it's the presence of alignment. It's where heaven arranges the details of your next chapter while you learn to stand still and trust. You see, power doesn't come from movement alone, it comes from the stillness that builds inner strength. Before every major breakthrough, there is a season where nothing seems to happen, yet everything is being positioned perfectly beneath the surface. When God is about to elevate you, he first quiets your surroundings. Conversations dry up, opportunities seem to freeze. You look around and feel forgotten, but you are not forgotten. You are being fortified. The silence is not punishment. It's the forge. It's where your spirit is strengthened, your patience is tested, and your endurance is refined. You can't carry great power with a restless heart. You have to be able to wait when everything inside you wants to move. That's why silence is necessary. It disciplines your emotions and teaches you how to trust without evidence. Think about nature. Before the rain comes, the air goes still. Before the earthquake shakes the ground, there's a pause. Even before lightning strikes, there's a moment of tension in the atmosphere. That stillness is the signal that something powerful is coming. The same thing happens in your life. When everything suddenly becomes quiet, when doors stop opening, when people disappear, it's often the sign that something is being set in motion. You may not hear it, but the foundations of your next season are shifting. We live in a world addicted to noise. Everyone wants to be seen, to be heard, to be noticed. People rush to announce every move, every plan, every idea. But real power doesn't make noise. It makes impact. The ocean doesn't announce its strength. You feel it when you stand before it. The lion doesn't roar before it hunts. It studies, waits, and then moves with precision. That's what silence does. It gives your power direction. If you move too soon, you waste energy. But when you wait, when you let the silence mature you, you strike with accuracy. Sometimes God will take you through silent seasons to teach you that your value isn't invisibility. It's easy to feel powerful when everyone is watching. But can you feel powerful when no one knows your name? Can you trust your purpose when it looks like it's standing still? That's the test. The silence is meant to strengthen your identity so that when you step into your next level, the applause doesn't distract you and the criticism doesn't destroy you. If you can survive the silence, you can handle the spotlight. Think of a volcano. For years, it looks calm, quiet, mountainside, nothing happening. But deep within, pressure is building, energy is gathering, and one day that quiet mountain releases unstoppable force. That's how destiny works. It looks dormant, but it's not. Something is stirring under the surface of your life right now. Every delay, every quiet day, every unanswered prayer is adding pressure to your potential. When the right time comes, what's inside you will erupt into manifestation, and no one will be able to deny what God has been building in the dark. Silence also reveals what truly has your attention. When there's no noise, no validation, no confirmation, you find out what you really believe. It's in the quiet that you confront your fears, your doubts, your inner conversations. That's where transformation happens. When there's no audience, you hear your own voice. When there's no noise, you hear God's voice. And that voice gives you strategy, direction, wisdom, the kind of power that doesn't come from shouting, but from knowing. Power is not just force, it's focus. Think about an archer. Before he releases the arrow, he doesn't rush. He draws back in silence. The tension, the pull, the stillness, it's all part of the preparation. The arrow must be pulled back before it flies forward. In the same way, the more God pulls you back, the farther he's about to launch you. The silence is the tension before your release. What feels like delay is actually divine aim. Don't despise the draw back. It's proof that you'll be being positioned for impact. In your silent season, people may misunderstand you. They'll think you've lost direction, that you're stuck, that you've slowed down. But they can't see what's being developed inside you. They see stillness, God sees strength. They see inactivity, God sees incubation. You're not paused, you're being powered up. Every quiet moment is charging your spiritual battery, building your resilience, and increasing your capacity for the weight of what's coming. If you study the pattern of power, you'll notice that it's always preceded by silence. Before the Red Sea parted, there was stillness. Before the walls of Jericho fell, there was quiet obedience. Before every miracle, there was a moment where nothing seemed to move. That moment was not emptiness. It was expectation. The same God who worked then is working now. He hasn't gone silent. He's preparing a sound that will shake the ground when it's time. This is why you can't panic when everything goes still. The silence is not God abandoning you. It's God aligning you. He's tuning your spirit like an instrument before the performance begins. The musician doesn't tune while playing. He tunes in silence so the sound can be pure. That's what's happening in your life. God is tuning your heart, refining your character, and adjusting your rhythm so that when the music starts, you'll be in perfect harmony with His purpose. Powerful people are not the ones who always speak. They're the ones who know when not to. Silence gives you authority. It trains your spirit to respond, not react. When you stop wasting words on things that don't matter, your words begin to carry weight when they do. That's the secret of real power. It doesn't beg to be heard. It commands attention when it speaks. So when your life goes quiet, when it seems like heaven is still, don't mistake the silence for stagnation. That's the pause before the breakthrough, the deep inhale before the exhale of destiny, the gathering of strength before the release of power. There comes a time in your life when the noise must stop, not because the world has gone silent, but because your spirit has grown wise enough to hear the whispers of destiny. The quiet is not your enemy, it's your greatest ally. That stillness you feel, that pause that feels endless, is heaven writing your next chapter in invisible ink. And when the time comes, what was written in silence will speak louder than anything you've ever said. You don't need to announce what God is doing in you. The results will announce it for you. Your success will be your sound. Your growth will be your proof. Your peace will be your revenge. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to stay still while everything around you tries to provoke you. They will gossip. They will misunderstand. They will doubt your strength because they can't see your preparation. But remember this, trees don't fight the wind. They bend, they stay rooted, and that's why they outlast the storm. You don't win battles by reacting to every sound. You win by mastering silence, by allowing your stability to speak louder than your struggle. You're not being quiet because you're weak. You're being quiet because you've grown beyond the need to explain yourself. Silence has become your strategy. There's a divine difference between giving up and growing up. When you give up, you quit on your purpose. When you grow up, you quit explaining your purpose to people who were never assigned to understand it. Maturity is not shouting your worth. It's knowing your worth without saying a word. Lions don't roar to prove they're lions. They walk with the confidence of knowing they are the king of the jungle. That's how you must walk in this next season. Quietly confident, powerfully calm, unbothered by noise, unmoved by doubt. You are stepping into a level of peace that can't be purchased, a strength that can't be shaken, a faith that can't be faked. Every delay you face was divine direction in disguise. Every rejection was redirection. Every closed door was protection. You thought God was punishing you, but He was preparing you. He was pulling you away from what could distract you, protecting you from what could destroy you, and teaching you the power of focus. Because what's coming next requires precision, not popularity. It requires vision, not validation. When you focus on yourself, you stop competing with others and start connecting with your purpose. You stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. You stop asking, why me? And start declaring, try me. This is your reminder. Silence is not the end of your story. It's the incubation of your greatness. A seed doesn't make noise when it grows, yet it breaks through the soil and reaches the light. You are that seed. Everything happening beneath the surface of your life, every quiet transformation, every private victory, every unseen tear is shaping you into something powerful. Don't rush the process. Don't fight the stillness. Because the same soil that buries you is the same soil that grows you. You don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. Let your results do the talking. Let your peace be your statement. Let your success make the noise. People may not understand your silence now, but one day they'll say, so that's why they disappeared. That's why they went quiet. You are not losing people. You are losing distractions. You are not missing out. You are leveling up. God is rebuilding you in private so He can reveal you in public. And when He does, it won't be subtle. It will be undeniable. So hold your ground. Stay focused. Stay silent, because the storm you thought would break you is actually building you. The waiting you hate is the workshop of your wisdom, and the silence that scares you is the symphony of your next season. You are not behind. You are being hidden for a purpose. When it's your time, even your silence will echo. Even your stillness will shake the ground. So stand tall, breathe deep, keep your peace. The world may be loud, but destiny is whispering your name. Don't let the noise of others drown out the voice of your purpose. You're not being overlooked, you're being prepared. And when you finally rise, you'll understand why God said, focus on yourself and stay silent. Because sometimes the greatest power is not in speaking, but in becoming.